Well, hello, my CNC brothers and sisters. It's another CNC Wednesday, and tonight we've got an interesting little lineup for you that just kind of fell together over the last 2 days. So, pretty excited about this. Very different from what we normally do. So, but it is going to be interesting and quite engaging. Even I'm going to be really curious about this one. So, first of all, I wanted to say your questions. We're going to work to stay away from CNC questions today, just because of the subject matter we're going to have in hand. Put your questions related to what we're going to be talking about here as we develop this whole thing. And also, remember at sometime tonight, the ladies, Liberty and Julianne, are going to drop in and do a giveaway. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring them on board real quick. You guys know the IDC women that I cannot live without to run this business. And so they are in the background chewing the fat with you and making sure your questions are taken care of. So Julianne's on the bottom there, administrator to IDC Woodcraft. Liberty is the fulfillment manager for IDC, and she's also becoming a content creator, which is so super cool. So excited, and we want to get Julianne on that role as well. So, hey, wish Julianne a happy birthday. One day late, but it is a happy birthday. She had a birthday yesterday. All right, so with that, we are going to bump the ladies in the background, and they will pop out at some point and do a random giveaway that we do every week. So we don't know what it is. All right, so I'm not going to waste any time. And, well, there comes your happy birthday wishes, Julianne. All right, so the folks that we have tonight, I'm going to let them do the introduction, but we're going to start with someone that we have had on here before, and his name is Ray Kinman, and he's a master wood carver, and I'll let him give you his backstory and some of the very cool things that he actually does. So he's master hand wood carver. And then he's going to introduce these other folks, which are I'm really excited about. So there we are, Ray Kinman. Thank you for joining us once again, and it's good to see you. So this is like the third time you've been on board.
Man, I'm a regular now, huh?
Yeah, and so we got an email from you yesterday or the day before, and you said, "Hey, we got these guys here that you might want to have on your show." And we started off, we just drop in for 10 minutes. I'm starting to think this could be a full-blown thing because of all you guys do. So let's why don't you give your quick backstory of what you do in the woodworking industry and how far you've gotten with it.
Yeah,
so people know you, and then we'll take it on from there.
All right, yeah. I've been a full-time traditional wood carver by hand for 47 years. And, I started when I was a kid. I'm self-taught. I wasn't an artist. I had no idea what I was doing. I just somehow got roped into doing a carved sign for a friend's restaurant. And I basically just lied to him. Said, yeah, I know how to do it. So I'm making stuff up on the spot. Right. That's how I got my start. And through a bizarre, strange series of events, I wound up working at Disney Imagineering, doing carving for Disneyland theme parks.
Carving projects for Disney.
Yeah.
You work for the Imagineering group in Disney.
Yeah, the Imagineering group is the think tank that designs the theme park. Anything that goes into any of their theme parks is Walt Disney Imagineering. And actually, here's how I got my start. So, I was young and just starting out, and I didn't really think much about Disneyland because I grew up near there, and I always thought Disneyland was this place where you go stand in line. That's about all I thought about it. Mm-hmm. And we took our kids there when they were little for an adventure, and I'm going in there, I'm looking around, going, wow.
See if you can come a little closer to your mic, just a little bit.
Yeah, I was looking around and just going, wow, these people are good. And I thought, what? I think I can probably do this stuff. And I thought I'd look into it. And so I started sending my portfolio. I found out about Imagineering, and I sent my, this for email. So I'm sending a slick portfolio, photographs, all this stuff. And over over and over and over and over. And I just sat back and I thought, waiting for the phone to ring, and it didn't. And this probably went on for a couple of years. And I just gave up. I thought, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know how to do this. So I'll do something else. And it wasn't long after that I got a phone call from the senior graphic designer at Imagineering. And he had just happened to walk into a restaurant that he doesn't usually go to for lunch, where I had done some work. He saw my work and got my number from the manager. So that's how I got my lucky break. And so David is here. David is the original art director for the Indiana Jones stuff at Disneyland. We did the original Indiana Jones stuff. And he's here today. So you'll get a chance to meet David. And he gave me my big break. And my career just changed from there on. And it's just, it's
All right.
been kind of this unexpected stellar thing happened, that just a lucky break.
Right. So how long have you been doing projects for Disney?
Started in '93. So long time.
All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to show folks some of the stuff that you have sent to us. So I'm going to share my screen, and let's see. And then I got to bring up these photos. So we should be set up there. And come on.
Look at you.
All right. So if my computer wants to bring it up, it's giving me a hard time here. That's interesting. Might have to let me stop that share or try that again. So these are very interesting projects. If I can't get it, then Julianne, you'll have to bring it up on your end, or Liberty will have to bring it up on your end. So let's go to I might have to reload these guys, because it's not showing up on my screen share. So I want to bring these up. So in the meantime, Ray, as I'm working on bringing these up, talk a little bit about some of these major projects that hundreds of thousands of people have seen your work on a daily basis, and these other guys you're going to introduce to us.
Yeah. So if you think about that, Disneyland, just that one park, gets 29 million visitors a year. Now, let's go back 32 years. That's hundreds of millions of people. And what I never expected, when I was doing this stuff, I was just grateful I have work. I was like, I'm working. Wow. I never really realized that the work I was doing was going to become a cherished childhood memory for millions of people. And those kids grew up. And so it's like they're commissioning me to do something for them. So I'm going to work for Disney collectors now. Never expected any of it.
All right. I think I got this working. So can you see it?
Yep. That's my very first Disney piece. The art director on that job that gave me my big break is here tonight. His name is David Lucas. And that was back in '93, I think, something like that. That's 8 feet long.
Right. So this is a wood carving that you guys had done by hand, then, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what does it take, like behind the scenes, to actually develop this? The Disney says, okay, we want to do an Indiana Jones theme type of thing, and then you guys say, okay, how we're going to do this, and you start to come up with this concept. How does that develop? Actually, maybe we can wait till we get Dave in here too, so he can.
Yeah, he'd be a good guy to pick his brain. So, Imagineering, I was a vendor back then, and so they do all their design work. They got a pretty good art department there, right? So they do all the design development and all that, and then present me with the idea, and then we brainstorm, work out the bugs. And, winds up like it's a team effort. I can't claim, I'm some kind of hero. There's a lot of people to work on these things, and they're very, very, very good.
Right. Okay. So for folks who've jumped in late, we are currently talking to Ray Kinman, who is a master wood carver by hand, who does projects for Disney. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is one of the projects that he's done. Here is another one, and these are all just wood hand carvings that you've done.
That's a piece of mahogany. That's like 8 feet long, 4 feet tall mahogany.
Wow. Is this multiple pieces of lumber that are put
It
together?
is. Yeah. Do you
Okay.
see how the characters look like they're kind of sticking out?
Yeah.
So we cut out blocks of wood, glue them onto the original block for
Okay.
extra depth, for extra relief, then carve it like it's one piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's another one. Pooh Corner.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see Tigger's whiskers got a little messed up on that one, but those, I have the artwork for that, and you can't carve whiskers; they just break off. I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do, and my little 8-year-old kid was there. He's going, "Dad, use coat hangers, right?" So those are coat hangers from my closet. And I glued them.
Funny. That's funny. And then we got this one here, which, I mean, look at the detail on this stuff, folks, and the color scheme. So I'm kind of curious on this one on the bottom. This looks deep because of the shading, but how thick is this actually?
This is it's low relief, 2 inches thick, right?
Okay.
It's about 6 feet long. David did the concept art for this. David, who's here tonight, and
Okay.
Justin is also here. He's our illustrator. He's the guy that takes David's concepts and tightens them up, and he's a wood carving, understands what can be carved, what can't. So
Okay.
yeah.
And there's another one. It's not the highest resolution image, but okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stop share, and then what we'll do is we will bring we'll bring them back up when we bring your other guys in. So okay, so you've got a group of guys with you that have been quite involved in some stuff. So what we've got here on the list. So you got David, who's a Disney Imagineer. Universal art director, illustration at Lucas Studio. All right. Justin worked with Lucas, Disney, and Nickelodeon, and they can tell more about them than Randy, master carver, and then we got David, who's a master wood carver, CEO of Chip to Chip Industries. I think what is it that gets all you guys? Well, you know what? Let's just head out to your shop and let the folks see who else we got here.
Sounds good. Let me flip cameras here.
Okay, we'll get this party started. So, folks, this is just really cool that Ray reached out to me. He's been on here a couple of times. He's master hand carver. He's taught us about airbrush work, and he runs a hand carving studio where he teaches folks. He's got online courses as well for that, and so he's going to he's taking us out to his studio now, where we're going to meet these other guys that he works with, and you know what? I'm learning as much as you are right now. So, yeah, this is kind of cool. When I was talking to
what we're
Joanne.
working on here, this is actually a CNC project. The original was hand carved, and so we scanned the original, did a 3D scan of the hand carving, made a CNC model, and then we ran them on CNC. And so we all have spent the last 2 days carving, and now we're into the color and finishing mode. So there's the piece. It's Scrooge McDuck, and that's like a wall safe. And if you look in there, let's see if you can see that. That's his treasure room behind him. So it's designed to be mounted on a wall. So this is a CNC copy of the original. That's hand painted and finished. This one I did.
Okay.
These guys are in process right now. This is Randy. Randall, say hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Randy, hello.
Randall's he's our lead wood carver. He did the original carving for this piece.
Okay.
And so he's kind of learning how to do the finish techniques here.
Painting cool parts.
Yeah, painting cool parts. And this is David Lucas.
Yep.
There's David.
Hey, Dave.
David is the original art director at Walt Disney Imagineering that gave me my big break, and he's the concept artist on this piece.
So is this now a CNC?
This is a CNC, right?
Wow.
It's not the original. So we're doing our own copies here, right?
Okay.
Right. And it's a two-piece, this is the front piece he's working on here. And the
Okay.
back treasure room is a separate piece of wood that mounts on from the back. You see that?
Huh? How long did it take for this to carve out on the machine?
Months.
I mean, when you guys run it on a CNC machine?
To run on a CNC, this one's actually pretty quick. We do run a really high resolution on it. Here's the CNC here. Bunch of current stuff going on here.
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe 8 hours each piece. This is Justin Ridge. This is Justin. Say hi.
Hello.
Justin is our illustrator. He's an animator and art director at Netflix and Lucasfilm, the Star Wars people. And so he's here working on his piece.
Okay. So we're currently working on all the color schemes now. Then, because
correct.
Them all carved out, and about 8 hours per piece to carve out.
About that. Mm-hmm. This is alderwood.
Okay.
And this is Dan Slater. Say hello, Dan.
Hey there.
Hi, Dan.
Dan. Ooh, man, you're making some progress here. Hey, you did it upside down, Dan.
I screwed up.
Uh-oh.
I was left unsupervised.
It's my fault. It's all my fault.
So let's if these guys are willing to introduce themselves a little bit, okay, so you got Dave Lucas, right?
Hey, Dave.
That's the first one on the list. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
So I'm Garrett, and pleasure to meet you. Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and I guess Ray has filled you in on what I do and how I teach people and what have you. And right now we've got about 276 people hanging on board, seeing what's going on here, because they like to learn all kinds of woodworking stuff. So when Ray, for all the guys that are in the room there, Ray said, "Hey, we got a bunch of guys here. This is the powerhouse group. So hey, why don't you want to come on the show?" Right? And so you all know already what he's doing, but would you take a minute to introduce yourself and how you're into this whole thing as well?
Okay, my name is David Lucas, or Dave Lucas. I've been themed entertainment for probably last 30 some odd years. I've worked for Disney, Universal Studios. I've worked for a couple video game companies early stand-up arcade games. Where else are we going? The last bunch of years I've had my own studio. So I basically take projects and work for Disney or Universal. They farm out a lot of work. And so that's what I do now. We'll take on a project. So something like we did the graphics for Harry Potter out of my studio for Universal. Ray was when I actually worked at, I was on Imagineer, and I was assigned down at Disneyland, and they called the group Show Quality Standards, but we became design on the fly really fast. And so when Indy was going in, we redid Adventureland, and we redid the boathouse. We redid, I'm trying to think of the name of the shop now. What was it? The Traders? What was the sign we did together? The
Indiana Jones Outpost.
Outpost.
Mm-hmm.
Outpost. The Traders was on the other side. So anyway, my kind of onus for the project was Disneyland was big on fiberglass at the time. All the signs, all the props were FRP, they called it. Fiber reinforced plastic. And so I wanted to bring in real materials, and a friend contacted me about, hey, you got to look at this guy. And I wanted to bring in, again, real wood signs. So we hit it off, and Ray carved this. How long was that thing, Ray? 8 feet? 9, 10 feet?
8 feet, yeah, 8 by 4.
Yeah.
You picked him up as a young punk, didn't you?
Yeah. So he knocked it out of the park, and then that's kind of how that project went. It was really well received, and it was real materials again. And so I think now the parks, Ray's gone back and done all kinds of stuff for him. Mm-hmm. They've decided real materials are really cool. So, and then with this, he's had me do a few designs for him in between what Justin's doing, and then invited me up for this little workshop. So I've carved a little bit eons ago, and so this is where I'm at right now.
Okay. So you were the original director at the Imagineering studio?
I wasn't a director. I was a lead senior designer. So
okay, lead designer.
At that point in my career, now I'm concept designer, more director, that kind of thing.
He's out on good behavior right now.
I'm out on good behavior.
Okay. How old was the Imagineering department when you joined it?
Let's see. Imagineering, honestly, I'm trying to remember when they actually started calling it Imagineering. It was WED originally, Walt Elias Disney, and that's what WED went after. And then I'm trying to remember what year they changed it to Imagineering. I think in the late 70s.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting my history a little bit. And so all along they had all the animators that came over and did all the design work for Pirates. For the whole park was animators that became themed entertainment designers, and they actually got some of the best people in the company. Actually jumped from animation over to the theme parks. Herbie Ryman that did the castle, Ward Kimball, Blaine Gibson. They had all the original guys, and then one by one they filled in. So it was, I guess, halfway through its career at the point I was there. I think I got in there in 1990 after I worked on Universal Studios Florida. So.
Okay. All right. So folks who's joined in, we have Ray Kinman on board, who we have had on a couple times. He's a master wood carver, and he's gathered together with a few of his master carving friends, Dave Lucas. So he was with the Imagineer department at Universal, at Disney, and you're doing work for Universal, right? And
Both
Lucas
companies.
Studio.
Both companies.
Okay, and then we've got. So now you guys are doing that, and is this kind of like a shindig that you guys do once in a while? Let's just get together and carve and paint or whatever.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make a tradition out of this. This is Ray speaking now. I'm behind the iPhone. So so my wife ran away with her girlfriends for a girlfriend adventure, right? For 4 days, and so while she's gone, I thought, well, why don't we get the team together and we'll all just do a no girls allowed retreat here, and we can all carve one of these Scrooge projects, and it's just been a gas. We've just been having a great time.
Okay. And so the project that he's showing here, this is something that was hand carved. Ray, it's not just one person that carves up these things. Is that right?
This whole team. Our lead carver is Randall Stoner over here. This guy.
Okay. All right.
There's his logo.
All right. And then you took this project that was hand carved up, and now you guys have turned it into a 3D model. You scanned it, and now you've carved it on the CNC. So this is Randy, right?
This is Randy. By the way, here's what it's going to look like when it's done. This one right here.
Okay. Expand it. Put your camera back on that and expand his screen. Juliana Liberty. And get a close look at that thing. That is such good detail. And the paint work on that is insane.
That's my thing, right? I come in and do all the color and finish stuff. I do some of the carving. Randy does the bulk. He did the heavy lifting of the carving on the original on this one. So what we did was he carved the original, and then we did a 3D scan of it and made a CNC model. And so these were cut off of the CNC model, and then we spent the last 2 days carving and tightening it up.
Okay. I don't suppose that. Oh, so it's a two-piece carve then, correct?
Yeah, correct. This is the face piece here, and then that's the treasure room scene. Show them how it mounts from the back.
Man, that's got some serious detail in it.
Yeah, there's like 800 coins, little gold coins in the background there. So there's no color on this one yet, but when it's done, it looks like this.
Right. Wow. And so you're painting 800 individual coins. I don't suppose that STL file, that scan file, is for sale, is it?
No. Well, everything's for sale, I guess.
That's true. So, okay, Rand. Let's see. We got this is Randy, right?
Randy, yeah.
Okay, master carver. So, Randy, just take a minute and introduce yourself. How you get into this hand carving business to become a master carver?
Well, I think it's like a lot of us, as we learn things that we enjoy. I found that wood carving was pretty cool, and just did it in my spare there a time as I went to school to find a career that just paid the bills. But over the time that I had been learning, I didn't know that I was actually becoming pretty good at it. So just being in the garage and going to the fairs and stuff like that, and all of a sudden 25 years goes by and I'm not bad at it now. Ray found me and I joined his team, and been doing it ever since. Before I met Ray, I was doing just relief carving mainly, and it was, my forte was sci-fi fantasy. So I like doing like, you know, Gandalf and mages, dragons, goblins, all sorts of stuff like that. And, you know, I just can't get enough of that stuff. But, you know, the things were like from 10 inches thick to like, you know, 3.5 inches thick. And then I was doing stuff that was like half that. So now I got a pretty good handle on really thick stuff and the thinner stuff as well, but all relief.
So what are some of the projects that you've carved then in that people might have seen a lot of?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Some of the projects that you have carved that, well, what are some of the favorites that you've carved that have maybe have gotten into some really public places or what have you?
Well, there's Mickey.
Yeah,
Mickey,
I'll let Ray tell you. I'm not sure which ones I'm allowed to discuss.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
let
true.
Ray tell you.
Yeah, there's some things we can discuss and some things are, you know, confidential.
I've told my mom I told her not to tell anyone, but there's a few of them I'm not really allowed to discuss. Maybe Ray will let them out.
Yeah.
But as for my own work before I met Ray, I've had some really, really popular ones, but none that anyone would know about unless they went to my website.
Okay, cool. So, you know, I mean, I find this interesting that, you know, when we go to a place like Disney or something like that, we walk around, we see these cool signs, but we really don't know what's involved in it. And just one of these carvings. And what is the thought process that goes into that? You know, how long does it take to start from fruition of the idea to getting the thing on the structure and where the public can see it?
Well, I think that every carver has a process, and my process is I work in thirds. So the first third, I have to determine the absolute furthest away spot, and that would be usually background. The background has to be no less than half the thickness of the wood that you're starting with. So if you're starting with, say, 1.25 inches, you cannot go any deeper than 3/4 inch, and that will keep the carving strong for the entire life of the carving. If you go deeper than that in specific areas, you can do that, but you can't go throughout any deeper than that. Otherwise, it compromises the structure of the carving. So once you determine the depths of the carving in the last place, then you can measure everything above that to the highest point and determine where everything goes and how thick they can be. Once you've done that, you cut it out and you start carving. And once it's recognizable, go to the next third, which is really basic detail, and you clean everything up until it's really clean. And believe it or not, the final part is super fine detail, at least in my opinion. And when you do super fine detail, that's when the thing comes alive. It's like a miniature, amazing, truly realistic item in miniature.
Yeah,
That's how I
fantastic.
explain it.
Randy's work is some of the best I've ever seen. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So looking at your website, so your website is madcarver.com, correct?
That's right.
Okay. And bringing up your site here. So folks, I'm gonna bring up his webpage so you can see some of the stuff that he has carved. So and you can get behind the screen so you can tell us a little bit about what you got. About what I'm looking at when I bring the screen up. So let's see, go here, and then there. Okay, so I got to get rid of your cookie policy. So accept and close your cookie.
Right on Earth now.
All right, so you have projects here that are available and people can pick up. So are these like one-off projects that you hand carve, and then or do you hand carve multiple ones? What?
So the ones that are on the website, for the most part, I just got a bug and I said, I haven't done a dog in a while, and I just pull up a dog or I'll have an artist draw it for me, and then I'll transfer it over the block and just start with my thirds process. In some cases, I'll read a book, and in a lot of cases, to tell the truth, I'll read a book and I'll just see this amazing scene in my mind, and I'll go, that would be a great wood carving. And so I then draw it up, or I get an artist to draw it up, and then I'll spend anywhere from, a week to 2 years on the project, just finishing it off. Then, I'll put it up on the website and see if it sells. If it doesn't, it'll go to somebody upon my death.
Right. So I'm curious about this piece right here. So this is a guy throwing dice, and it literally looks like that dice is 5 feet from him. What is the depth of this project?
This particular project's, I think, about 5 3/4 inches thick out to the furthest dice that's close to you. So the overall project is based on a book that I read years ago by Robert Jordan. It's a Wheel of Time book. Some of your listeners, your viewers probably know of it. And this particular character's name is Matt Trim Coffin, and he's just a consummate rogue. And he's gambling all the time and unfortunately winning all the time. So I wanted to base that character and put him in there. And so a great gambling.
So I want to say something about Randy, what he's really good at. So the reason that dice looks like it's coming out at you, that's an effect that it's called forced perspective, which is you're forcing the eye into believing something that it isn't actually there. So, and actually we did it on this piece too. Randy's really, so see how that safe door looks like it's swinging out into the room?
Yeah.
It's the exact same level and depth as Scrooge and the Adding Machine. They're all the same, but it looks like it because of the forced perspective there. And also the treasure vault scene. See how it looks like it's really deep and it's 20 feet deep? Well, it's not. Right? So that's when Randy's really good at that. And very few carvers can really do that.
I love doing that.
So these are fantastic pieces of work. Just to show folks.
Thank you.
That's cool. So you've just been doing this all your life, and you do it for fun. You do it for
sustenance.
Yeah, he's our full-time. He's full-time carver for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, these are master wood carvers that we got going on here. So we do have like 10 questions on board. Don't worry, folks. We're going to get to your questions. So let's thank you, Randy, and thank you for showing that. So madcarver.com. I might have to talk to Julianne about that piece that we just looked at. and Liberty, I can get Liberty on my side to start to work on that one. Julianne is kind of the boss of the money for the business. So
we all have one of those.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Randy, for taking some time out and talking about that. Yep. And so, who else we got there? We got Justin, right?
Yeah, let's go and visit with Justin.
Justin, you ready to say hello?
Hello.
There's Justin.
How's it going?
Hey, Justin, I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft, and you already know what's going on here. Yes. So, share with the folks who you are and what got you into all this stuff and where you've been.
Sure. All the stuff. So I'm Justin Ridge. I work in the animation industry. I studied to be an animator and have worked on shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Star Wars, Clone Wars, Rebels, and Resistance, Wings of Fire at Warner Brothers, a lot of different projects in the animation industry. I've been a theme park nut on the side. My wife and I love going to all the different theme parks that we can. So I have a love for what Imagineers and what the designers have done at the various theme parks. And my wife found out actually about Raymond's class and was like, hey.
We've lost audio there. Yeah, Raymond, we lost his audio.
Yeah, basically, I took Raymond's class about 4 years ago, and trying to learn something new. And I'm like, oh, I like wood carving. Let's try it. And it went really well. Had a lot of fun. And Ray reached out and said, hey, do you want to maybe help me with a couple of designs? And 4 years later, we've done a ton of designs together. Yeah, it's fun. It's like different challenges for all the different characters and different layouts that clients want, to have. So it's been a blast.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Ray, when you're holding the phone, put your hand, cup your hands like that, and that will bring the sound and bounce it into the speakers. So if you can hold it like that, that will give us a little bit better audio. So, Justin, you said something about Star Wars, right? Tell me about that.
Yes. In a nutshell, my director on Avatar: The Last Airbender was Dave Filoni, and he is basically the new George Lucas up on all the Star Wars properties. And so he asked me to come up north and check it out at the ranch, and I ended up working on Star Wars Clone Wars back in the day, and I was supervising director on Star Wars Rebels for Disney, and was executive producer on Resistance, which, if no one's seen it, it's on Disney Plus right now. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun working in, kind of comedy and action and all kinds of different shows, and, dipping my toe in the Star Wars universe.
Right. And you were dealt with Nickelodeon as well.
Yes. Yeah. With Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Okay. So that's kind of cool. What did you do with Nickelodeon?
So I was a storyboard artist for them on that show, and did a couple of seasons of Avatar, and it's actually been a lot of fun because the show came out, was back in 2006, and not a lot of people watched it, but now it's on Netflix again, and it's gotten this resurgence. So a lot of people have rediscovered this show that we did like almost 20 years ago, which has been a lot of fun to see. But yeah, I'd say if you guys haven't seen it, it's a really fun show. That's it's kind of anime, but like a Western version of it. Yeah, a lot of fun for the family to watch.
Okay, so you like met George Lucas then?
I was in the editing room with George Lucas, sweating bullets, worried that I'd be fired.
That's pretty funny. That's cool. It's interesting to meet people that have met other people that have met other people. No famous names, put it that way. That's pretty cool.
It was surreal. It did not seem I was actually there. It was it was a very interesting experience.
So what do you do now? What are you working on?
So I'm at Netflix currently, working on an unannounced project, but I'm supervising directors and storyboard artists on the current project.
Okay.
Which I can tell you.
So when you're working on things like that, are you actually working on the what's the word? When you say artists, so you're talking about like the models that they build up around the studios and what have you? And
yeah. So essentially, our department, we make the blueprint for the show that we have the animators go off of, and then they animate the characters and bring it to life. So we worry about the shots, the compositions, what the characters are doing. It's almost like a comic book, panel by panel that shows, oh, this shot, these characters do this is the dialogue. Okay. So there's a lot of moving pieces in a storyboard that essentially we package and then give it to the animation studio for them to flesh out. So yeah, that's my day job. And then, at night I help Ray out, doing these designs for various projects, and it's kind of fun. It's flexing different muscles artistically.
Yeah. Okay. I do have a question so I'm wondering, what are some of the really cheesy ways that they create dramatic effects in film. Like you're in a destruction scene and sparks are flying. You know, people are just striking arcs with a welder. So what are some of the other things that they end up doing to create interesting effects that is really easy to do, or you wouldn't think?
I mean, there's all kinds of tricks and techniques. When you say the well, are you talking about like sound effects or like special effects on screen?
To make sparks fly, they'll be welding above it, and the sparks will kind of just. I'm assuming that's what they do when they're making sparks drop out, like to pretend there's wires that are broken and arcing.
Oh, I see. Well, you know, with animation, I mean, you can make anything come to life. Sometimes those effects are hand drawn. Sometimes they're computer imagery. You know, so like particle effects and things. It just depends on the project.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So that's animation. So that you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Very cool. So you're in there painting one of these guys?
Everyone else, and you know, learn from Ray and make Scrooge come to life.
Right. So I guess So Ray, you have a course that teaches people how to hand carve stuff, right? And then you teach about the painting.
I do. There's a basic.
Justin, thank you. I wanted to say thank you, Justin, for
thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a couple different instructional videos on my website. One of them is just real basic, like how, if you don't know how to carve at all, nothing. You're not an artist, you've never done any woodworking, nothing. It'll teach you the basics of how to do a very simple sign. And then the other one is a 3-hour color and finish video, which is this one. And that's all my secret techniques that you're seeing here. So this is the original, and the video comes with a CNC model of this. So you can, you know, cut it out on your CNC, you can cut the model, then step by step go with me and learn how to do these kind of color techniques. It's kind of a shortcut thing. So, and by the way, we have a coupon for IDC viewers. If you go to the website and you want to order any combination of the instructional videos, you get 15% off, and that's your promo code there, IDC Woodcraft, all caps.
All right.
It expires in 2 weeks. All right. Expires cool. 4/16/2025. So there.
There you go. You got a 15% discount on that with that project there. Super cool. Super cool. All right. So and then we got Dan, right?
This is Dan Slater. Say hello, Dan.
Hi, Dan. Hold on before we get on there, folks. Whoever has joined up recently, we are talking to master wood carvers here, folks who have been carving for or been involved in a lot of different things that you have seen. So, okay, Dan, let's talk. Hello.
Hey there.
So what's your story, my friend?
Let's see. I've been carving 25 years, more or less, primarily caricature carving. That's always been something I've really enjoyed doing. And several years ago, I took the course from Ray. I'd never had any formal training. It was always doing it on my own. And I did the sign, and I had a carving club I taught. And I got back to the club and showed the sign. If you guys want to learn how to do this, I can help you out, or you can take Ray's class. And some woman saw the sign, and she said, well, I want you to make me a sign. So I carved her a sign, and then she wanted 2 more. And I got in touch with Ray, and I said, your class has complicated my life. I got 20 orders. And he said, well, you can carve for me. And that's what we've been doing since.
Yeah.
All right. And so you're a CEO of a company, Chip Industries. Did I understand that right?
What's that?
You are a CEO of a company, Chip Industries?
No, that's just me making chips. So I've got my own company. It's actually called Counting on Fingers and Toes.
Gotcha.
And, I don't have a website. I don't sell my work. Occasionally I compete, but it's just something I do for fun.
Okay. So how long have you been carving?
About 25 years, give or take.
Okay. So what is one of the tips that you would give somebody about woodwork, wood carving, hand carving that anybody would, I'd need to do a round robin on this question. What would be the biggest tip you'd give somebody?
Let's see, if you're wanting to do anything like I would do, find a local carving club that can really help you get started. And That's a good way to start. And then do not buy cheap tools. If you're going to buy tools, you'd rather have someone buy one quality tool than a dozen cheap ones. Buy good quality tools. Because junk tools will have ruined more carvers than they ever produced. You'll end up frustrated, miserable. You can't keep them sharp. You won't like the hobby, and you'll quit. But one good tool, you can do a tremendous amount of work with. So that would be my learn from how and buy good tools.
Yeah, that's actually something I preach too. You know, in my industry is CNC machines, and that's what I teach. And I tell people, when you're looking for a machine, just make sure you look for the quality first,
Right?
Because it's something that's going to last for a long time. So I'm kind of curious with the rest of these guys, like Justin over there. Hey, Justin, what would you say would be one tip that you would give somebody who is getting into the hand carving woodwork?
Well, you know, I will admit I'm not as experienced with wood carving.
How about don't quit your day job?
Don't quit your day job. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you're passionate about it, you know, learn as much as you can, take classes, you know, try it yourself. Like, you know, Dan said, try to get good tools and get into it and, you know, do your best. You know, for animation, where I started out, you know, I did a lot of stuff on my own, you know, trying to do little animations, you know, exercises so that I would get used to it. So I think wood carving is the same thing. You just you don't know until you try it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And what about Dave? What would your advice be if you
well, I'm not the carver like these guys. I did carve a bit as a kid. My grandfather was a carver and a master carpenter, if you really wanted to go that way. That was his passion. So he'd make me robots and cool little things he would carve the faces on, and got me into it early. So that's where I got my hands on wood. And I guess maybe the two things I would think of is, if you really want to get something nice, have a pretty clear design before you start it. You know, use good materials. I agree 100% on the tools, even if it's one or two. And then I think the other one I'd throw out there is maybe start really small with whittling. You know, a little block, a little pocket knife, kind of get into it and get it to bite you and love it. You know? Get a little fun out of it. Dan did a really fun cartoony piece for Ray, and it's amazing. And it's just this little guy, and he built a little structure around him. So it was a woodworking project, it was a carving project. It was a nice, I would think, almost a gateway, even if it was simple. You know, this one was a little more complicated, but you know, so that's where I would go.
All right, and then Randy, what's Randy's tip for someone getting into stuff like that?
For people that are wood carving as beginners, intermediate, or even advanced, I'd say the most important thing that I can help you with is that V-parting tools are probably the most loved and the most hated tool in the tool row. One, because it just does so much, but when you have to sharpen it, nobody wants to sharpen it. So the best way to maybe just remove it from the eye is to use the skew chisel instead of the V-parting tool. And I've gotten used to using a skew chisel for almost everything I do. If you ever see me online, you ever see me in a picture, likely I'll have a skew chisel in my hand. Mm-hmm. It could be 2 millimeters or it could be 18 millimeters, but it'll be a skew chisel. And they're just so versatile. They can be used for just about everything. Mm-hmm. And the irony about this is that every single tool roll we've ever bought, every group of tools we've ever gotten, they had a skew chisel or more than one in the tool row. And 15 years will go by before you even pick it up. I would suggest you play with it and try to use it. And I think once you do that, it'll never be out of your hand again.
You know, but I want to point out something, Garrett. All these guys here, you asked for their advice about wood carving. None of them recommended that you get my videos or take my class. So thank you guys.
We didn't want to steal your thunder.
We were going to come together at the end and
say
it's important for you. Come on, gentlemen. It's really important for you to get a look. As a matter of fact, a couple years ago when Ray, I came out here initially to work with Ray on painting, and that video was done and I bought it the same day. And of course, my wife said, "Are you ever going to go to sleep?" And I said, "No." And I watched the whole thing that night.
Thank
and
you.
took a ton of notes.
Just like I paid you to say. Thank you.
We actually did.
Gotcha.
All is well. Do you have an all is well here?
Yeah, it's over here. Yeah.
We did that one.
Yeah, that
That's a
one.
fantastic.
Yeah, so that project, swing back to that project there.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, this is the one you have the class on, and you have a 3D model that people can run on their CNC router. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the tools that you use? Can you show us some of the carving tools that you work with?
Sure. As long as you don't make fun of my mess.
You want us to pull?
All right. Promise? There. That's one rack of them. These are hand tools. You know?
So these are all gouges, right? They call these
Yeah.
gouges.
Gouges and chisels, mostly gouges. That's right. The difference between a gouge and a chisel is a gouge has a sweep or curve to it, and a chisel's like a flat edge. But also, we use, like this is a like grinder. It's actually a dental tool. It's like a Dremel, really fancy Dremel tool. And it has like a hand piece. Right, and so it's like a Dremel. And then mallets, gouges, and we use some power tools too, handheld routers and that stuff too. Primarily, it's done by hand though.
Huh. All right, let's get into some questions. So, folks, this is what they're working on right now as a group. That's kind of they're hanging out. They've carved these on the CNC. At the first one, the original one was hand carved, and now they scanned this and carved it on the CNC. So everybody's making it, and I so much want to carve this thing. We were going to have to bribe Ray somehow to get that thing. Ray, I'm gonna.
So I can show you something here, Garrett. This will maybe make more sense. I'm going to show you an original carving. This was done by hand. This one here. This is one of Justin's designs. It's for a client, a collector, commission piece. And then, so we made a 3D model of it, and I haven't made made a little baby version of it on the CNC. So I haven't painted yet, but
You scanned that. Wow. Okay.
Scan the big one, then we make these little baby ones.
So what is the scanner that you use to scan these?
I send that out. I don't do that myself.
Okay.
I struggle with email. Stuff like scanning. I don't have any idea what I'm doing. Yeah.
So I just want to make a comment from Brooks Martin. You said Ray, the Pegasus looks awesome. So is the Pegasus around that we can see it, or is that?
I can take you back in the house. It's in there if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's hang on a second. Let me thumb through these questions here. We'll come back to that because I want to see if we got some questions that some of these other guys would have that can answer some of these. Okay. Let's look at the Pegasus. First of all, I just want to say to the other guys, thank you everybody for taking some time to share with the crew here. So you got 300 people on board that are watching you all do this work, and they're all just painting up this thing. And thank you, folks.
Cool. Have a great one.
And we'll head back in the house now, Garrett.
Yeah.
Here's the sharpening thing. The sharpening section. All right.
What is that?
That was the sharpening section I just showed you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Lester's asking, are you going to have any more STL files of this carving for sale?
These are proprietary limited edition carvings that I sell to collectors. So these aren't publicly available. We're thinking about doing some rough outs. If you know what a rough out is we do a rough part on the CNC here and then ship it out with a video to show you how to carve it and how to finish it up. So, but that's still in development right now. So there's the Pegasus. That's my bedroom door.
Julianne, Max, bring that screen in. Okay, coming closer to that. Let's get a close look at that. So this is a carving that is wild.
And my bedroom door.
Yeah, so you just made that for your door. Wow.
See the handle? That like branch comes out? That's the handle for the door.
So how long did it take you to carve that?
Oh man, you know, I did this kind of in my off hours. I have no idea. You know, took years to do it, but I'm not sure about hours.
And what's that to the right?
What's that?
What's to the right there on the wall? You got another carving?
Oh yeah. So we did a wood carving trip to Africa, Malawi, Africa, last May. We put the Malawi government invited us to put together a crew of American wood carvers, some of the best, right? And we went over to Africa and went in deep into the villages to meet with the African wood carvers. And I mean, Malawi is the poorest country on earth. And so some of these people have never seen white people before.
Really?
That's how far we went. So this is one of the pieces that I brought back with me. It's a depiction of a typical African village life.
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful, huh?
It's almost, it stops me in my tracks as I'm looking at that because there's so much life in this.
Yes. Every aspect. I mean, this is storytelling. Isn't it? You know, basically that's what Disney does too. It's just storytelling. Amazing, huh?
So you carved this?
I did not. This came from Africa.
Okay.
I brought it back from Africa.
Yeah, that's an amazing carve though. It's definitely storytelling.
Yeah.
All right, let's get you back on screen, Ray. Let's flip the camera back around.
All right, well, give me a sec.
Okay, and so to the answer, Lester, about him with these selling those files, he said they're thinking about it. We'll just have to wait and see. But if you do make stuff available, certainly tell me, and I will pass that on to the crew.
Yeah, I don't think we're not going to do the files. You can get one of them with my instructional video, but these files are proprietary artwork. They don't leave.
Yeah.
Right.
You're talking Disney, and Disney's very protective about their stuff too, and people are paying you for that. Those aren't small dollar projects.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're big dollar collector projects. Yeah.
All right. So Joel says, are you working only by hand or on CNC?
Both. So I do CNC work a little bit differently than most people do. All these pieces are, the original is 100% hand carved, right? And then we'll scan that and make a 3D model out of it. And then we'll do the duplicates on the CNC. So there's always the human element. And then all the finished work is all done by hand too. So we're keeping the element of it involved. And, you know, I'm not beyond asking a robot for help. That's great.
Right. Okay. So Cody, hey, Cody, what's going on there, brother? So he said, small world. The first time I went to Disneyland when he was a kid is the week the Indiana Jones ride opened. So Cody's a really super nice guy. And so folks, for Cody, he's the one that has developed the Jenny bits and the CNC bits that are very popular. And so we carry those on the IDC Woodcraft website. So just letting you all know. Here's one from Randy. This is Raymond. What brand of hand tools do you use?
Yeah, I've got nearly 50 years of collection, so they're kind of a Frankenstein collection. But my favorite is made by a File brand. They're Swiss made. In the United States, they're carried by Woodcraft, but you can get them from different distributors all over. And you know, what Dan said earlier about use good tools. I mean, here's the mistake that often beginners will make. They'll look at the tools. They'll go on Amazon and say, "Well, look, that's only $39. I'm going to get a cheap, you get that. And then as I get better, I'll get the good ones, but they will not hold their edges. So it won't work, and you'll think you have no talent, and it's your tool. So this was made, brand's really good. I also use Stubai tools, Henry Taylor. They're all good. European, high quality European, high carbon steel tools.
Yeah. Folks, that goes for CNC router bits too. You buy cheap, you're getting cheap. Okay, so Russell is saying, what type of paint are they using on these projects? Is it similar to what is used on the theme park project pieces? That's a good question.
Yeah, so they're using a combination of latex enamels and artist acrylics. And typically theme park stuff is not that kind of thing. Like Disneyland, those pieces just get beat up, brutal. I mean, what they go through, it has to be much more durable than that. So they're using epoxies, sometimes auto paints and stuff like that. But
oh wow,
people don't know that Disneyland or Walt Disney World, every night they pressure wash that whole park. And those pressure
really?
They're violent. Those pressure washers are violent. So this stuff has to be very durable, right? But, like the pieces that I've had that have been there for, since the early 90s are still there, but they take meticulous care of them. They take them down and clean them up and repaint them as needed and put them all back up.
Huh. All right. Let's see. E-cabinets, tips, tricks. What 3D scanner do you use? So they already said you sent them out. You sent them out to a professional company that actually has probably a high-end scanner, so that can pick up every little bit of that detail. I would love to see that carve. I'd like actually watching the machine carve that piece out. Let's see. So Man Sloan said the pieces look amazing. After the painting process, is there a protective coating applied to the project?
Well, most of these are interior, but yeah, sure. That's been a 50-year-long experiment, really. It's like the the stuff at Disneyland. They use automotive hardened clear coats and UV resistant clear coats. But for a piece of wood, you can slow the process down, but the sun's going to win that argument eventually. Mm-hmm. So use maintenance, and you can use. I use oils, natural oils like teak oil, which has to be maintained and done from time to time. But it's been used for thousands of years.
Right. Do you? What's the ratio, or how do you work between airbrush and hand painting? Do you? Is there one or the other? Or do you cross over on a project to do?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I use an airbrush on everything, but I only use that for background shadows. So when I carve a piece of wood, it looks kind of flat. There's no contrast between background and foreground. So I come up with an airbrush and I put shadows in the background areas where I want the eye to recede, right? Or the subject to recede. And then I use hand paint all the foreground colors, the ones I want to come forward in the composition. So airbrush just for shadows.
All right. Hey, folks, if you're getting something out of this, then just give us a thumbs up for Ray taking some time out and sharing us with this is very spontaneous this tonight. So we are going to have our giveaway at some point when the ladies are going to come on board and they will take over. And this is what happens, Ray. Every show we do a little giveaway, and Julianne and Liberty come on and they take over for 5-10 minutes as they do this giveaway thing. But I just want to let folks know that next week is Ladies' Night, and that means that Garrett's not going to be here. It's going to be Liberty, Julianne, and our I think we got Ellen, right? Madra that you see out there. We've met Ellen, and she's been an avid CNCer and has built a very interesting business. So it's going to be a ladies' night next week. Guys, you can still come on board, but I will not be here. All right, so let's see. WXX says, what determines wood selection for your stuff?
Yeah, wood selection. So hand carving is a little different. Again, these things have to, some of them are going outside, so they have to be very stable. They can't do a lot of expansion and contraction. And hand carving, you can't just use pine or Doug fir, there's very specific. Most of them are hardwoods, exotic hardwoods. So mostly I use a Malaysian hardwood called Jelutong. That's that blonde colored wood. The project the guys are working on here is alder wood. It was hand carved beautifully. Mahoganies, there's specific ones that work. Most carvers use basswood. It's a domestic art, easy to find.
Right. Okay.
Jelutong, the wood I use is hard to find. It's out there, just like a premium carpet. I think I own most of it, actually. I got a shed out there.
That's why we have a shortage of those trees. Okay, I got it.
Right.
Ed is saying, what species of wood are easier to carve and which ones are more difficult?
Yeah, so easier is the question there. So soft doesn't necessarily mean easier. It won't, softer woods get spongy and they won't hold detail and they'll splinter. So generally a harder wood, but not so hard that it's beating you up. So Honduras mahogany is great. It's a perfect combination of soft and hard. Jelutong wood is really great. It's relatively soft, but it holds detail well. So, but domestic woods, basswood's a good choice. I think it's a hardwood, but it's not terribly hard. So yeah,
Okay.
alder is really great for carving.
Then what?
Alder is really great for carving.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, there's so many wood species, and you bring up these species and going, okay, I've never heard of this. I do CNC stuff. So Kimberly is, I don't know if you can answer this, but I guess along the same lines. She said tips for painting 3D carvings. Okay. So I thought that was 3D printing. So tips for painting 3D carvings.
Tips. I got a whole 3-hour video of it on my website if you want instructions. It's a deep topic, but tips. Well, okay, here's a big one. I wish I had known this in the beginning. I mean, this is just like one of the most important things is that dark recedes from the viewer. Dark moves away into the background and light colors come forward. So if you want to create that illusion of depth, you darken colors up as they get into the background. And then as they come forward, then you start lightening them up. Great tip. If you can learn to practice that one. Now you can see that here with this African carving. When I brought it from Africa, it did not have any contrast on it. You can't see, can you? Here.
There we go.
Right. So what I did was I took an airbrush and just brought it and darkened up the background, then sanded the foreground characters back to their natural color. So they appear to pop out and the dark in the background recedes. Can you kind of see that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the biggest tip is the dark gives the effect of distance and light gives the effect of lighter colors give you the effect of close up or closer up. So it's basically it's use of shading to create the depth.
Yeah, like if I'm I don't know what you can see. If I'm carving like my arm is a cylinder, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it on camera, you see how it's shaded around the edges, right? So when you drop colors in like that, if you drop the shading in around the edge there, it appears to give it a cylindrical shape. And then in this area, right here on the surface, I would use highlights in the center of the arm. Just kind of like it looks on camera here, right?
Great. Okay. Yeah. So Ray's got a course that so he's got that project, the All Is Well project, that 3D STL project, and you get that model, you carve it on your CNC, and then you walk them through the color process of how to paint that thing up. Yeah, that would be listed in the description, and he's given a 15% discount with the discount code is IDC Woodcraft, all capital letters, one word. Was that what it was?
Correct.
Okay, and that will be listed in the description of the video as well. So okay, so Philip says, what happens to the original hand-carved pieces? How many CNC copies are usually made?
The originals, many of them start as commissions for collectors. So what I never realized when I was doing that Disney stuff was that these pieces would become iconic Disney pieces and like cherished childhood memories for millions and millions and millions of people. And those little kids grew up, and you know, I've become well known. And so when they find out I'm the guy behind that stuff, they want me to do something for their family or their home. So these are private commissions, fireplace mantles, you know, that kind of stuff. And then so then we'll scan the original, and then I do limited edition copies of those. How many are usually made? We peak them. It depends on what the piece is. No more than 300. Some as little as 50.
Okay.
And I mean, if I carved 300 of any, I'd be doing that the rest of my life on one piece. So I'll never get it.
Yeah. So these are heirloom projects when you do this, basically. And do you sign them, or how is there?
Yeah, there's signed a number with the certificate of authenticity. Yes, there's a collector. I never thought people were going to collect my work. I mean, what a strange thing to happen. I just hope one day somebody will buy something. I hope someone buys something someday, and now they're collecting it. I swear.
Okay. And Wayne is saying, when wanting to get into hand carving, is it best to go off of your own imagination?
No, I don't think
or
so.
It finishes up this question, or is it better to go off a photo or a picture you found in a book? Just adding this question to my first question. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you partially answered it yourself, Wayne. So yeah, for beginners, I don't think it's really great to draw out of your head. First, you have to learn the basics. You have to learn the techniques. And carving, there's a definite series of steps. It's just like you have to load your bit into the collet, and then you have to bring up your layout. You know, you go through a series of steps to do this. You see, same thing with carving. And the first step is about layout and design. So I teach beginners. Like I've had close to 700 people come through my retreats. They're 3-day retreats. Like, and these people are not artists, they're not woodworkers, they're just regular people, most of them. And so I really recommend we start with clip art, which is, they might have an idea. Okay, I want to do. My son is a astronomer, so I want to have stars. You know, so we just compose it on a computer. You know, we'll use clip art and kind of lay it out on the page, and then print it out, lay it on the piece of wood, trace it on with like graphite paper under it to get your pattern on the wood. So photographs, it's like a coloring book. It's that simple. If you can follow a line like a coloring book, you can carve. So that's how simple we keep it. If you try to do a photograph, you can't follow lines on a photograph. You have to learn to think in shapes, just like you do in CNC. They're shapes.
Yeah, it's funny. I just did a video. I said to teach people about the Vectric software that I use, and it's like a one-on-one video. And I said, you know, all your projects start off with a shape, and it's usually a circle or a rectangle, and then you start working it from there. So okay, so there's the answer to those questions. And so Lynn is saying would really like a discussion at some time on scanning both 3D objects and pictures. So that'll be something I'll have to make a note about that. So we'll try to track down somebody that does that stuff.
My son
does
that stuff. He might be able to help you with that. He's who does my carving, my scanning. Is my son. He's a big. Oh. He's got a big 3D printing operation. He's really good.
Really?
So I'm going to move my battery on my iPad's about to go. Yeah. So I'm going to move to where.
Well, you know what? While you're doing that, we'll just let the ladies take over and do their giveaway. So I'm just going to bring them out, and you can put. You guys ready? I got a thumbs up from Liberty, I think. No, they're like going like this. Okay, well, come on out. It's the floors. No, they're saying no, they can't. Okay. Are you doing a giveaway? We're
I
working on
guess
hand gestures.
earlier than we had planned, but I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, Ray was trying to
Julian?
plug in. Well, I guess we can still have Ray, and you guys can jump in when you want. Go ahead. Bye. I'll see you later.
Oh, how fun.
Oh, they actually did it. I didn't think that happens. Okay. All right. Well, we'll do a couple more. So we still got that giveaway coming. Hugo says, what is the best outdoor material for art projects for the type of stuff that you do?
The best outdoor material, maybe fiberglass. If you're talking about wood, wood is an organic element. It's like you would, if you're going to put a piece of fine furniture out in the sun and the snow, it's gonna age over. By the way, that's an interesting question. So when we did the original Indiana Jones stuff for Disneyland, it was mahogany. It was 8 feet long, 4 feet tall, big, beautiful carving. You showed it at the beginning of your video here. And so when it came time to do the color and the finish, they're going to bring their set painters in to make it look, they wanted it to look like an artifact, like something was found in the forest, deep in the jungle or something like that. So you bring it and paint it to look old and weathered. And David, the guy you met earlier, he goes, "What? Let's don't put anything out. Just put it out in the sun and the rain. It'll look like holy hell in about 6 months." And it did too. So sometimes you want that effect. You just got a nice weather effect. So it's, you need if you're talking about wood outside, it needs to be very stable, not a lot of expansion and contraction. Not all woods have the same properties. So Honduras mahogany or jelly tongue are very good outdoor materials.
Okay. Hey, I have a question on a picture like this. How long did it take to do this project?
I worked alone for decades. This was back when I was working. Now I have a team. You met, part of the team tonight, but this took me probably 2.5 months.
Okay. And how many people are really involved in bringing, this whole thing right here? Just this one project right here. How many people are involved in getting this together?
The planning and the mechanical aspects, you think about it, it goes from design to concept, and then it's got to go to bid, and then those bid processes has to be cleared through legal department. There's a lot of people. The engineering has to do the safety engineering and the wind calcs, and so it's a large team, maybe 25, 30 people. So
wow,
yeah.
That's wild. Okay. Michael says, do you seal the carvings before painting? What kind of paint are you using on the carving for lasting results?
That's a common question. Yeah, they are sealed. So we start with raw wood, do the carve on it, and then do the shadowing airbrushy stuff. And then the initial sealer is a product I use. It's a deck sealer, outdoor deck sealer called Penofin Verde. That's PENOFIN. It stands for penetrating finish. Penofin Verde. That's the green brand. So it's largely Brazilian rosewood oil. It's not the real toxic stuff. I just don't use that stuff anymore. So it's an oil-based finish, and it's got UV inhibitors in it too. So it penetrates into the wood. It's a penetrating oil. So the pores of the wood suck it in there, and it hardens inside the wood. And then for painted areas, we'll come into latex enamels or acrylics mostly. And then over the top, if it's really going to take a lot of direct sun, probably 5 or 6 coats of spar varnish or oil. I prefer oil. That's what I use on mine. The oil has to be maintained. You don't just do it once and it's good forever.
Right. All right. So Dave is saying, do you require an airbrush machine for all for the glass?
I don't know what glass. Dave, I'm sorry, I'm not
Yeah, I'm not,
understanding your question.
yeah, I'm not.
An
I'm not.
airbrush is like a little spray brush. It sprays color.
Okay, so your airbrush is a touch-up tool, basically, to give it.
Yeah, kind of.
All right. There's a question from Donald. He says, "How long is your course?"
Depends on what you're asking about. The color and finishing course for CNC people is almost 3 hours long. And it's
Okay.
it's a deep dive. I mean, you're going all the way. All the stuff I do is on that video. The other one is, I think, 90 minutes. I can't remember. But that's a beginning wood carving thing. If someone you know nothing about carving, you just want to try it out and have a kick at it. Yeah. If you're talking about my retreats, that's where people come here and spend 3 days with us and go right all the way through the process and produce their first card.
Where do you do your retreats at?
Right here, out of our house. Yeah, in Northern California.
What state?
Northern California.
Northern California. And how far are you booked out right now?
Almost 2 years. We're really, these become really popular and they just sell out really fast. So we're into 2026 now. There's some spots available in 2026.
Okay. Wow. And then Brian is asking, Ray, what CNC do you use?
Yes. I have a Stinger 2. It's a Cam Master. Nice machine, man. Nice machine. I really like it. Yeah.
Okay. And Ruth is asking, do you seal your wood before painting with latex acrylic?
Yeah. Just kind of answered that question. Yes. They use the penetrating oil sealer and then paint the latex acrylic. Now, you have to let it cure all the way, like 7 days. Otherwise, the acrylic will not stick to it. It's too oily. But once it hardens and dries, then you can use acrylic over it.
So you got to let it cure. That's a really good tip because I'm a really impatient person when I'm doing that on my projects. So there's a big tip for you, folks. Give that stuff a bunch of days. I was just thinking, can you impregnate like a wood, since wood is nothing but straws, basically? Can you impregnate a sealer all the way through that wood like that by blowing it through the wood?
That's a great idea. I don't know how it would be done, but I imagine some species would. I've seen a demonstration, a woodworking show, where a guy took a board and he had a bowl of soapy water. He's blowing in this end and bubbles are coming out the other end. I mean, it really is a block of tubes or straws. So I imagine maybe you can force it in there somehow, but I don't know of any way to do that.
Huh. Okay. Oh, cool. We got, let's see, what's another question here? So Dave's saying, what software do you use on your CNC?
Vetric.
What is it?
Vetric.
Okay. So you work with the same software I use.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's no, we got that's it with the questions. We got them all. So first of all, folks, he's got that course where, so you got a hand carving course and you got a painting course, right? And I want to pull up that project again. Julianne, give me a link to his website so I can bring that up. And there was another one from SP. It says, how much sanding is involved after carving?
How much? Say that again, please.
Sanding.
What does Sandy say?
Hand sanding.
Oh, sanding? Oh, a lot. A lot. It's, I think of sanding as a Zen exercise. One of our carvers, Martin, is from Mexico. And he did a traditional apprenticeship with his uncle's wood carving shop. He started at the bottom. He sanded for 4 years before they let him touch anything else to teach you the discipline patience, right? So I look at sanding, it's not something I'm trying to get done. It's like just part of the enjoyment of the process and, trying to do the best job I can with it. So there's a lot of sanding.
I would imagine, and you got a lot of fine detail sanding too. So let's see, I want to bring up your website. So here's your courses, all right? So
That's
your
it.
first one is the roll to radiant, and that's color and finishing technique. Video includes the 3D model that you see there. And the whole idea of that course is to teach the color scheme, how to get that color and bring that color out and show the depth. So that's very cool. And whatever else you have in there. Then the second one is your wood carving for everyone online, streaming video. Okay. And then you have your streaming video bundle. So
Combination of the two. Yeah.
okay. Okay. And so yeah, I wanted to make sure that they saw this image here. That's a cool project you can carve. How big is that generally, this project?
Well, the original's about, I don't know, 16, 17 inches long. But you can scale it any size. I've made some little baby ones too. They look really great.
Yeah, you can resize your models all you want. So, and he's offering a 15% discount, and the discount code will be in the description of the video, and we've been putting it in the comments as well. So the IDC the discount is all capital letters, one word, IDC Woodcraft.
Correct. That's good for 2 weeks, though. There's an expiration date on it. So,
2 weeks. Okay. So 2 weeks from the published date of this video, which is April 2nd, the day after April Fools. All right. So Ron is saying, what project have you done that you are most proud of?
You have a picture of it. It's the Beauty and the Beast fireplace mantle. It says, tale as old as time.
Yeah,
That long rectangular piece.
let's see, a country bear. I've got. Oh, okay.
Beauty and the Beast.
Let's see, tale as old as time.
That's the one.
Okay, I'm going to bring that one up. And I just got to share the screen. It's actually a really cool carve. I probably haven't shown enough of it today. Okay, and let me bring that up. There you go.
That's truly a team effort. Like all the guys you met tonight, all of us worked on this. So the way we do this is we all live in various parts of the country. So we ship them back and forth. Like, you do this part, Dan's good at this, he'll do that part. And then, it comes to me toward the end and I dial everything. I just fine tune everything and or do the parts that other people can't do. So it's all teamwork. It's all these guys.
So it's not one person that's carving all this stuff then, huh?
No.
Wow, that's got some very nice. Oh, look, all the books have like the little binders in them.
Yeah,
you got a book there. It's actually, this is quite. Wow, it's just such nice detail on this, and you just never realize how much effort goes into stuff like this.
That's a serious piece of work there.
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, so Robert is asking, also, do you use files or just chisels for sanding?
It's a combination, mostly hand tools. Gouges. So a chisel is a straight edge. A gouge has a curve or a sweep to it. It's a scoopy kind of thing. So mostly those, but we use routers, handheld routers for outlining sometimes. And sometimes files for detail, tightening things up, but mostly it's hand sanded.
Okay. And let's see. Macaros is course lifetime access for reference or one and done?
Lifetime.
So, lifetime access. Okay. So can you share what you're working on now? Do you have any projects in the works that you guys are working on?
Well, yeah, you saw some of them out there. You saw the little Mickey and Minnie one. That's the current one. There's a bunch of stuff in the works. I'll show you. Let's see. Coming up. I'll be right back. Hold on. This is how it starts. I don't know if you're going to see this in reverse. Can you see this?
There you go.
All right. So that's a Mother's Day project, Forever in My Heart. So it starts like this, right? Well, actually, it starts with scribbles. I scribble out the ideas. Then it goes to the design team, and we work out the ideas and get into a tight line drawing like this that you can trace. You see, it's not a photograph. There are very clear lines that you can trace onto the wood. And then you start by taking away the background area. So you outline everything like you would do on a CNC, right? You outline everything and take the background back. And then as the various levels happen, you know, like the little baby deers in front of the mom deer, right? Mm-hmm. So you cut around the baby deer here and then take the mom back a level. And then the mom deer is in front of the leaves, right? So you take the leaves and you take that back a level. So you just get all your levels in there. Then you start to add shapes. Like if you look at me, I mean, this is the big, if you can follow a line, you can carve. It's just like a coloring book. So all you have to be able to do is trace lines. So if you look at me, see how my arms are crossed? Like my chest is one level. That's the background, right? Now there's two levels. Uh-huh. Now there's three. Ah. So you step your levels in, and then you come back and like my arm is a cylinder. So you add that cylinder shape, the roundness to it, right? So that's the basic method there.
Okay, and Two Towers Art is asking,
We're taking over.
Are you a regular? Are you a regular on PBS?
I couldn't hear.
Are you a regular on PBS?
No, I've done 3 things for PBS, but not regular. Yeah, that'd be nice. So, any PBS people out there? I'd love to do a regular show.
There you go.
All right. Well, I guess they are taking over. I should be watching their dialogue in the background to see exactly what they're doing. So I apologize, ladies, for my rude pulling you out. But
all good.
Yep. So, folks, this is the moment where the ladies take the floor and they do a giveaway, and so they just take over. Ray, you and I can sit back for a minute, and we do have like 3 more questions. And so, folks, we're not going to take any more than what we've got here because we're at the 1.5-hour mark. So let's let the ladies take over and see what kind of giveaways they got going on tonight.
All righty. Well, hello, everyone. To those of you who have never actually joined us on a live, welcome. We're just going to do a quick rundown of how this works. So we have a lovely Wednesday night giveaway, and to enter said giveaway, you need to be on the YouTube chat at the current time of 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you are joining us after that, you may possibly miss this. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. For you to enter, you need to actually enter the code that you are about to see. Into the YouTube chat. Now you will, yes, I figured it was fitting. You will enter this whole code, #, hashtag, whatever you call it, and the letters. You only need to enter it once to be entered. And I feel like I've said entered a ton of times right now. So we will actually be giving away 2 fun things to 2 different people, and I love how everybody just goes for it.
Yeah,
it makes me happy. I don't even want to tell them what it is. I never do.
Again.
You want to keep it a surprise, huh?
I know. I kind of do.
You know what? It's your show right now. You do what you want.
it goes along with our theme and who we have as our guest.
Yeah.
So it's an IDC Woodcraft product.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun. So as people are putting in the hashtag here, so ladies, introduce yourself to the folks that are new here. Liberty, just take your 2-minute Cliff Notes version and tell them what you do.
Hello. I'm Liberty. I work with the IDC Woodcraft team. I am the fulfillment manager. I handle a lot of the broken bits and my address is incomplete and all that good stuff, as well as I do a majority of the shipping, writing on the packages, getting everything out. I am now kind of branching away from the shipping though, with my newest team member, and I am getting into content creation with CNC and creating.
That's what she's doing with IDC. So there we go. Yep, Liberty has proven to be a very natural when it comes to the getting out there, and people like her, and they like to see you growing. Some people have said, "Hey, you're like the daughter I never had," or they kind of alluded to that. So it's kind of cool to kind of have that kind of whatever you want to call it. Julianne, introduce yourself.
Awkward pause. I knew it was coming. Hi, I'm the administrator for IDC Woodcraft. Let's see, what do I not do would be the question. I keep everything running. Basically managing everybody, keeping Garrett in line with the I want this and no, we can't have that yet. Gathering people for these live streams that you all attend. And then filling in other spaces where we need stuff done. I don't know. It's kind of a multi-hatted, all-encompassing role here, I feel.
Yeah. So Julianne does she watches the finances, keeps track of what we're spending, interacts with our suppliers, interacts with technical, right? So we got another person that nobody sees. It's Richard, who does all the technical stuff. So she's doing a lot of interaction with a lot of people to get all the spokes tied to the hub of the business. And so that's what these two ladies do, and I could not run this business without them. Could not do it. So okay, so you got all the hashtags. Everybody got your hashtag put in there?
I think so. We've got about 194 people that have entered so far, and we will be drawing twice. So
I think we're good to go ahead and draw.
Let's go ahead and get this rolling. While it's drawing, should we tell them what it is, or just wait?
I think that's up to you.
Okay. All right, you guys, don't get excited until you see the confetti pop.
Right.
Okay, so our two lovely people will actually be getting a set of our sanding brushes.
Danny Carter.
We'll bring that up in just a little bit so you see exactly what it is. Danny, congratulations.
All righty. Awesome. And then I will tell in just one moment after we draw again how you guys can claim these lovely items. All right, here we go. One last time. Oh,
Wicked
wow.
Westphalia.
I like it.
I know.
I like the photo.
All right.
That's a cool name.
All right, you guys, congratulations. And to claim these super awesome sanding brushes, let me stop my screen. All you have to do is go over to idcwoodcraft.com and hit that contact us button. Your subject line is going to be Wednesday winner, and I will know who you are as long as you put in all your information and your screen name. So I will keep my eyes peeled for that. So congratulations, you guys.
Yep, you can do that. So this is exactly what you're getting. It's a 40 pack of detail sanding brushes, and these are meant to be put on Dremels, and they are really nice because what they don't do is scratch your wood when you're trying to sand all those little nooks and crannies in projects like that. So
I figured that was fitting for a hand.
is it me or
She said her Wi-Fi was a little funky, and I was piecing that all together, and she said, I think it was fitting for the hand carving and things that we were touching base on tonight.
okay. All right. So the two guys, that's what you got. That's what you won. Make sure that you send that email, and you can throw a link in the description for that too. And
Yes, I will.
Yeah, and put that in the threads too, so that folks can see it. Those are really handy for cleaning up all of them. They really are. Liberty's use them all the time. Liberty, talk about them. These little brushes. Bring yourself back out.
Is she? Nope. I
There
think
she is.
we lost her completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They're really handy to clean up all the little fuzzies that you get on those 3D models.
Oh, no.
So, all right. Well, congratulations, folks, and thank you, Liberty and Julianne, for going.
We'll let you ask those questions.
Yep. That's what we do, Ray. Every week. So, folks, we do this every week. Okay. So we got 3 more questions, and we're gonna bug out, my friend, because we've been on for a while, and Ray has given his time, hour and 40 minutes now. So Tim has said, what are the dimensions of the story as old as time?
That's about 6 feet by 13 inches.
That's a big project. It's bigger than what the perception I have in my mind when I'm looking at the image. And Ralph says, what's the largest project that your group has created?
Those 2 questions are going to get. Let's see. I did 16 feet by 4 feet. This is probably the biggest thing I've ever done. A huge mahogany piece. It's just huge.
Yeah. And the last question is from Dave. He says he wanted to ask is the airbrush machine required for the class?
No.
For your online class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nope. Just whatever Ray tells you in the course, that's what you need.
Use it or don't.
All right, and there was a comment there. I tried to say, oh yeah. So I just wanted to share this. This is because I was telling folks I can't run this business without these ladies. And Jeff said, behind every good man is a great woman. Behind this guy are 2 awesome great women. All right, I just wanted to share that because that's the absolute truth. All right, well, Ray, thank you for taking the time and this spontaneous little thing and letting us meet some of your team there, some of the folks that you've worked with and sharing what they do. Very, very cool. You know, it's just worlds for everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure. It always is, Garrett. Let's do it again.
Yeah, Julianne, I'm going to bring you back up. Okay, because we are going to be checking out.
I have to add in here. You were asking what Liberty thought about the brushes. She said that she texted me this. She loves the brushes. She uses them all the time, and she can't do a project without them. So.
Yeah, when she's up here and she finishes her carb, she's always running that Dremel with those brushes. So yeah, this is my house, my shop, but the IDC team can come up here whenever they want to. They've got access to my house. I've got access to my shop. They could ruin my life if they wanted to. So and then some. All right. Well, Ray, thank you for coming in. A lot of comments coming in saying thank you for coming on board and sharing your knowledge. It's just it's nice to know that there's other things we can integrate and just the CNC craft that go way beyond what we do. So So with that, folks, links will be in the description. Next week is Ladies' Night. So I won't be here, and the ladies will have the show. And maybe I should do the giveaway, right? Since
You could. That would be an interesting change of pace. Let's do that.
Gary,
All right.
next week on Ladies' Night, come join us out here for our boys' night.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we are going to check out. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Be here next Wednesday, 8 p.m. sharp. The ladies, Eastern Standard Time. The ladies will be here. For those folks who won, congratulations. Make sure you email Julianne, like she said. You can go to the website, contact page. And what do they need to put in the subject line?
Your YouTube screen name, email address, and then we should be able to take care of the rest from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With that,
All right, guys.
we will catch you all later. Thank you, Ray.
All right.